Good evening. I'm Jeff Koinange, and this is Jeff Koinange live at the Villa Rosa Kempinski. And if it's Wednesday, you know it's all about Politics 101. What a week we've had in the past 7 days. I tell you, there is never a dull moment in the history of Kenyan politics. We're going to talk about it all, everything that's been happening, the president, his remarks about corruption or fighting it. Also, Boniface Mwangi versus the deputy president. Also, something called a National Super Alliance, NASA. Have you heard of it? Well, you're about to. On the bench today, two young men. I tell you, this is the future of Kenya. When Robert Alai arrives on the bench, you know it is gonna be smoking. Throw in Ndolo, I tell you, it's no holds barred. And God knows who else is gonna show up. You'd be surprised. Start tweeting at Alai, at Ndolo, at Koinange Jeff, the hashtag Politics 101. Sit back. It's gonna be a rough ride. Robert, good to see you since the summit.
Good to see you. Thanks for the invitation.
Benji, as
Disclaimer.
always. Disclaimer.
There was
Disclaimer
no
from the start.
memo. Blue suits, chocolate shoes.
Oh!
Disclaimer.
What happened
no
to Robert?
memo.
And Robert?
There was no memo.
The next MP from Embakasi
There
East.
was no memo. And where's your extinguisher?
It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Guys, good to see you. Robert,
Good to see you.
you and I were at the summit that day.
Yes.
And then, look, I don't know what message you got from it, especially when the president arrived. What was your take home from that summit, Robert?
I think that the president is overwhelmed by what is happening in the country. And I think that is very powerless. That's the most unfortunate thing, that seeing all the security chiefs, the judges, and the anti-corruption bosses, they're all powerless. And the president is powerless. I don't know what we are going to do.
Were you shocked when you heard that? Were you
Yes,
surprised?
I was shocked that he was very angry with what people are saying. I was shocked that he reacted the way he reacted. But still, I still insist that he has the answer to all this. He can fire people. You know, they put people behind bars. They put 5 MPs, 6 MPs, I think. They were Pangani 6.
Yeah, Pangani
you know,
6.
They were behind bars against all calls for them to be released. So I think he can still have people arrested.
And yet, why doesn't he, Robert? Or let me go to you, Benji. Why doesn't he? Because, you know, he says under the new constitution, he feels powerless. Why doesn't he arrest 1, 2, 3 of these people?
Jeff, you're right. First of all, I wasn't shocked. I wasn't surprised at all. Robert's right. The president is overwhelmed. He's overwhelmed. He's in over his head. What's the one thing a rich kid always craved? A true friend. Because they had everything. And every friend that you made probably was your friend because your father's president, because you live in State House, because you have money.
From you.
And they want something from you. So Uhuru is a people pleaser. And this country has serious challenges at all levels. And we've said consistently from the beginning that this presidency is more about PR and bluster and talk and no action. So here's my challenge to both of you guys who are at State House. I don't know why I wasn't invited.
Maybe there's a reason.
If there's guys in the background pulling the puppets strings, huh? Just imagine if these are the guys running the cartels and making the money. So the president just came out on national TV in broad daylight and said, I'm defeated. What are they thinking? They're thinking, we've won, we've got him, we've got the system, we're home and dry. It is most unfortunate.
Robert, let me ask you this. What if, in his summary, he was saying, and I'm not defending him, I'm just saying, what if he meant, I've given you the resources, I've given you the personnel, I've given you everything you need. What more do you need? Mnataka nini jameni?
I think what we need from the president is the inspiration. The president can only give people inspiration. If you want a prayerful nation, it shows from the leadership of the country. If you are looking for a country of forthrightness, it shows from the leadership of the country. So if the president is not going to take the broom and sweep his house clean, then nobody is going to be inspired. You know, from all that talk, you realize that the policeman who is taking the bribe on the street is more emboldened. Somebody who is demanding bribe from county assemblies or county governments is more emboldened. The president just needs to act. And it needs not, you know, I think what is tying the president down is that he appointed his friends, not competent people, not people who have a following. So check the instance of the CS for defense, who is coming, is expected to be representing the Luo community in the cabinet. Yeah. And
It's a disaster.
you look and you say, why was she appointed even?
Yeah.
You know, so the president is sided by people who doesn't represent anybody.
And they've let him down, by the way.
They're letting him down. So, you know, they are the people who are supposed to represent the president. So if you're not speaking to the people, if you're not giving the feedback, the president now, for him to rescue himself, he needs to go to every regional headquarters to listen to what people are saying every month. Every month, go to a different regional headquarters to listen to what people are saying and come and fire people. Because he needs to fire people.
You see, Jeff, Uhuru's messing himself up. He's 55 years old.
Yeah. By the way,
He's a young guy.
by the way, today's his birthday.
Yeah.
It's his
We'll
birthday
wish him
today.
his happy birthday later.
Mr. President.
Yes, but he's a young guy. How can he not have a clue what to do? How can you be so frustrated, so discordant, so overwhelmed? I mean, this is how bad it is. The president sat there in front of all these different agency heads and expressed his frustration, and they all just sat there blinking, smiling. None of them even went and said, Your Excellency, I'm extremely sorry. This is how you feel. Here's my resignation. So there's a game going on.
Right,
What is
right.
really going on?
I think the president needs not to show that he's weak.
I mean, how do you show?
Which is not inspiring to even the people. He's the commander-in-chief. He has the opportunity. He's the man who commands the biggest army in the country. So if you listen there and you say that you are a policeman,
Yeah.
you have not been promoted because your boss is blocking your promotion on the basis of corruption, and the president is helpless,
But-
who do you go to?
By the way, speaking of State House,
Yes.
looks like somebody was listening to us and has just arrived. Dennis Itumbi, come on down. Come on down, my brother.
Can he just walk
Take
right
the
in?
seat. Take the seat. Let's mic Dennis up.
What's up, man? Salama. Karibu.
Oh my, he must have been listening to our conversation, people.
And he has files.
And he has he's always carrying files.
And I brought some files too. I had to bring some files too. We can actually start the firepower now. No. I'm a
Dennis,
thorough
karibu
guy.
sana.
Thank you very much.
We were just talking, in fact, it's great you showed up now because we're just talking about the summit last week. And Robert was saying the president needs to show less weakness, more strength, more assurance to the people. What are your thoughts?
Well, the president was not showing weakness. He was actually showing strength. He was basically saying, look, guys, we have set up institutions. We have made them alive as the Constitution provides. Kenyans went to a constitutional referendum in the year 2010, August, and they voted in independent institutions that were to fight this war. In fact, I've just not carried a document here, but I refer you to the archive of CKLC, which is a constitutional review process. When they saw David D. George Kigoro, who wrote a very flattering article that he had to start with my name somewhere on Sunday.
Yeah, I
sat
read
down,
that.
They sat down, and by the way, saying you are the wrong moderator.
Can you imagine?
So
What did
did
they call
well.
me? What did they call me, Robert?
Celebrity moderator. You did well.
So basically, the guys sat in a meeting.
Yeah.
They came up with, they said first why the war on corruption was being lost was because first they said the first tire was good and the first tire was institutions. Then they said the second tire was wrong. And that is why they said that then Attorney General was a face of corruption. So they broke down that tire of corruption and brought in DPP. They broke CASA and brought in EACC under the constitutional review, which Kenyans endorsed in 2010. The president was saying, all these things that were given to me, I've activated them. But when they started, they said they don't have resources, they don't have staff, and I've given them all. Then he said, look, if the people who were in government, 5 CSs, several PSs, several CEOs of parastatals, county government officials, senior government officials, have all been taken to court. It is not up to me now to go and sit as a judge and judge who goes to jail and who does not. The president has not only stopped what the law provides, he has innovated within the law and come up with what he's calling the multi-agency task force, which is MAT, which brings together ethics and anti-corruption, brings a new assets recovery team, a financial recovery center, and put them together, and he chairs the meeting together with the Attorney General. That has enabled people to be, including KRA, to be able to go not only at assets which have been recovered, and you'll be surprised, so far 1.6 billion recovered from people, as opposed to the past where people were just put in court and done. In fact, as he said, there is no other administration in the life of our nation that has done as much as he has done. He was not giving up.
Benji, is this PR? Is Dennis just doing PR?
This is precisely what PR is. You know why? None of those agency heads in there, even though independent, none of them is above the president. The neck cannot be above the head. The president is a head of state and head of government. What I'm saying is, and I've worked within government, what I'm saying is nobody in Kenya can operate and work contrary in an administration to the wishes of the head of state. Now, let me correct Dennis on another point that he has made. No, not all agencies have been properly resourced. The Auditor General's Office, for example, all right, has to audit 48 governments and more than 2 trillion shillings with a budget of 3.9 billion. Now, tell me, add that to the opprobrium that the Auditor General himself had to face the other day, and you realize that there's a big problem with putting politics into the management of fiscal affairs for a country that is ridden with poverty.
Robert, is this PR?
I think this is PR to an extent. The unfortunate bit is that the president has access to the most intelligence in this country. The president knows what even the judges looking at cases don't know.
Yep.
The president has access to the information which the average Kenyan does not have. The president needs to act on those information. He will know the information which is right and the information which is wrong. And he needs to use the information which is right to take people down. And we want to see the big fish down. If you are not going to see the big fish down, then you know this is the only thing which is now holding the president back. This is the first time that you saw, in fact I was watching one of the exchanges now on Twitter today, where the ambassador of the US was exchanging with some bloggers on the regards to the fight of corruption. And people are feeling that even the US has not been helping on the fight against corruption.
Yeah,
but the
that's
president, you know, and you know, the ambassador was inviting bloggers to go and see the efforts they are putting across to help the government fight corruption.
Yes.
So the biggest contention was that if Eurobond happened and one of the institutions involved was in US, then why didn't the US help on getting the document trail on this to clear this? Nobody is saying that the money was lost or was used well. The government is saying that the money was used well. Everybody is saying that the money was lost, you know, led by the opposition figures. But to clear all this, why don't you give us all the document trails?
Dennis.
You know, what we are hearing on this bench today, unfortunately, is people who are still stuck to pre-2010 constitutional life. Benji here is saying no one is above the president and can act. The president stopped the appointment, the reporting of 10,000 police recruits to Kigandu. Robert Alai did more than 10 tweets on the issue, saying the president cannot do that. Today, both of them...
I was in a meeting on the issue.
Just a minute. Both of them today are telling me the president has no power to do the president has power to go over everyone else. On that particular issue, the civil society, which Benji proudly belongs to and heads one of them, went to court and stopped the process. A memorandum, just a simple memorandum on advancing issues around corruption. The president puts it out, there's a bribery act, the bribery bill. The president convened the private sector and told them to come up with a bribery bill because he said the private sector is part of the mess. The private sector came up with a bribery bill. When the bribery bill was published, who went to court? The civil society. It is beyond the presidential power. We have a situation whereby we said we don't want a president who is everywhere, who is Mkulima number one, who is Mwalimu number one, and then all of a sudden we come back to the bench and say, oh, no, wait a minute. There is a way that the president is above all those things. By the way, as we speak today, there is no single petition in Parliament asking for the dissolving of EACC, asking for the removal of DPP, asking for the removal of the DCI. All what existed was one of Philip Kinutu, and when it went to Parliament, it was prosecuted, and the results were given. The Constitution gave sovereignty to the people of Kenya.
So are all these officials, are they untouchable, Dennis?
They are touchable, but the power is within you, me, Benji, and Alai.
Not the president.
None of them has put a petition. Once they put a petition, the president will put a tribunal, and then the tribunal will listen to them, and then the president will act. That is the constitution we give ourselves as the people of Kenya.
See what he's saying, except that, you know, Jubilee, as you know, they're so, I don't want to use the word sly. I can kind of see what he's saying,
Yeah.
except that Uhuru is reluctant to lead, to set the tone. I'll give you a good example. The head of National Police Service, in uniform, in front of the president, threatened an State House invitee who is giving a testimony of what happens every day. And we all live in Kenya. How can you tell a matatu driver who is saying that bribes are paid and collected that you can arrest him for being a witness? I mean, that is disrespectful to the president. We must not take the president as a child. Even if he's cool and young, we must respect him as a person and believe that when he says, for example, that he doesn't want corruption, unless he's in on it, there's no other explanation. And that's why we're here, Dennis, because a lot of things are not adding up. Things are really not adding up.
I think let's talk statistics here. When he says that statistics are wrong and says things are not adding up, 406 cases are in court.
Okay,
No,
5 convictions out of 461, because I heard you on Press Pass last night, is a success rate of 1.1%.
No,
That's
just a
an
minute.
E.
Just a minute. You see, you're
I don't
looking
know
at-
how you can be okay with this.
No, I'm not okay with it. By the way,
And
I
correction,
am-
correction. As much as
Hold
I'm in
this
civil
document.
society, on the issue of recruits, I actually sat in a meeting at OP when Kaseri was a new minister, and I said, guys, you cannot allow the president to embarrass himself. It was not a matter of going to court.
Okay, now
we
let's
are all
talk-
Kenyans and we want the best for the country.
let's talk facts.
This is the list you brought the last
this
time.
and I'm giving you this so I can give you an update of it. And I actually wanted to say I'm giving you this list. I gave you in February. I want to show you where it is now. These are all cases which are in court. They didn't go out of court because I gave you in February. They are still in court. One, Goldenberg case. These are cases where the judiciary has given permanent stay that no further investigation or investigation, prosecution, or even the cases cannot continue because they applied for stay. One, Goldenberg case against Kamlesh Patni and 2 others. Nothing can be done. The court has already ruled on it. Unless you're saying the president now should tell the Chief Justice, I have said as president of Kenya, this must happen.
Well, he said
Just
that
a
the
minute.
Chief Justice will
Two
be sworn in
chief-
before he was sworn in.
Two Kenya, but
Let's
of
get
course it
real
has
here.
been passed. Yeah, he had no choice. Only one name was being forwarded to him. He had only
So,
one choice.
so this
to do it.
president has a friendly Chief Justice, and the Speaker of the National Assembly is his personal friend. You see where I'm going with this?
But you're saying
You
want
work-
us
do you
to
still
use
work in
friend-
State House, by the way?
You want us
But
to
anyway.
use friendship. You want
Yes.
us to use friendship instead of the rule of law. Number one, do I work in State House? I invite you to my office tomorrow to have tea.
No, no,
Number
no,
two,
no, no.
two-
Dennis, let's
two-
be
no,
serious.
Just a minute. Just a minute. You know, you asked a question I had to answer.
Robert,
you.
can we go for
Number
tea
two,
as well?
Two Kenya.
Yes.
Kenya pipeline cases. One touching on the AAA cases and one on the staff houses.
When
The
you say
Anglo
pipeline
leasing-
cases, I'm thinking Ruto.
No.
But that's
The
another story.
Anglo leasing forensic laboratory case. The Crossly Limited case of Niwani Sugar Estate in Kisumu. The Bitange Demo case of the Marili Ranch. The GDC case. All these cases.
Where are the convictions?
Yes,
Bitange Demo was
all I'm
left.
Where are
saying,
the convictions?
Those are permanent stays by the constitutional court and the judiciary.
Those are
Just a
details.
minute.
These Kenyans who work here don't want details.
No, you
So,
see,
you see,
the problem with the discussion,
Dennis, Dennis, the unfortunate bit is that there is a stay on corruption cases.
Where is the stay on murder?
I asked for stay in my prosecution in a criminal case, and they refused to
As
give
a
me a
blogger.
stay.
As a
Yes,
blogger, right?
Because I was saying that if you are going to prosecute me and convict me,
Yeah.
yes, before hearing my constitutional application, then you are going to do injustice to me. Why didn't you stay this?
And they overturned
refused.
it.
But this one for corruption, they stay very fast.
Okay, temporary stays. I still want to stick to the issues
Okay.
because the issues are more important and the facts are more important
Sure.
than the sideshow. Temporary stays on the following cases. CBK Governor Jogunda Ndongo case. The Senator Johnston Mudhama case. Governor Mutua case. Mumia's sugar case. NHIF clinics and Meridian cases. 2 Nairobi cemetery cases. 2 Anglo leasing security contract cases. The Karen land scandal. The Midland finance land scandal. Judiciary procurement case. Jassy extradition case. Kenya Meat Commission case.
I think you're
All
digging
these-
yourself into a hole.
No, I'm not. These are independent institutions.
Oh,
The
come on.
judiciary. We have done our bit. Cases have been forwarded. They have gone through investigation. They have been forwarded to court. They have been given a stay.
Jeff,
What
let's-
do we
let's
do
get
as
to
an
business.
executive?
Dennis,
Let's get to business.
many of us have forgotten all these cases, by the way.
Exactly. Why do we need to
forgotten.
know this?
I don't know if it's
Let me tell you why
intentionally
you
or
forget.
not.
Jeff, which is my camera?
hold on. Before you do your camera thing,
Because
we have
these guys are incompetent.
Okay, let's take a break, come back, and you can talk about the
These
incompetency.
guys are all incompetent.
Also-
and I want to help him
Okay.
because we're Kenyans.
All right, let's do that.
This is the report that the president needs to read, and
Then
you
it's-
assist him with it,
It's a
and
good
you'll
thing
find
you
your way
came. It's
forward.
a good thing you showed up.
We have a problem,
Keep
boss.
tweeting.
We
at
have a
Alai,
problem.
at Benji Ndolo, at Dennis Itumbi, at Koinange Jeff. The hashtag Politics 101. So much
And the
more ahead.
solutions
By
are
the
here.
way, we're going to talk about Boniface Mwangi in that case. I don't know, man. It's getting ugly.
It's very sad.
It's getting ugly.
The video I saw today,
Oh my, what's the
Very
extinguisher?
sad.
We'll get it and come
He
back.
made a
Jeff
video of
Koinange
himself
live
today
at the Villa Rosa campaign. He
with his
takes a
wife.
break. We'll be back in a moment.